Hey, Gianna.
Hi, Dawn.
What a great 2024 kickoff for you.
Thank you.
In your career. And great shooting. Like, how phenomenal. It's so exciting.
Yeah. And I'm very excited.
And I met Gianna here. It was
Gianna?
I met you here.
Oh, yeah.
I said Gianna.
I thought you said Gianna, like Gianna Cole.
She came up to me. I was working on my computer in the little eating area and introduced yourself and handed me her card, and I was just like jaw dropped, like, who is this young lady that would have that much confidence that she would just come over and say hi? And I was really impressed. I was like, I'm gonna find that out who this is.
I knew who you were for a long time, and I was so excited to meet you. My dad was like, you need to go talk to her. You need to go talk to her.
I love it. Yeah. I love it. Yeah, and so I've been really honored to have you a part of the team and to learn the mental training. And Gianna comes up to my shotgun club sometimes and shoots my events and gets some practice with Joe and instruction. So we've got a little family thing going on.
Yeah.
So tell me, what happened last weekend?
Meaning, like, how did I do?
Yeah, what the heck? Anything. Tell me anything.
I don't know. I mean, the last, couple of months, basically how I was preparing for the 2024 season was working on my mental training, because the mechanics, I mean, they can always improve, but it's there. I know them well enough, and really what has been holding me back was my mind. So I've been doing my lessons every week, doing my hypnosis audios, and that just made the biggest difference in the world. I went into last weekend with the utmost confidence, and that's really what pushed me through the weekend. I was confident about almost every single target that I shot, and I was working hard at it.
And that's awesome. And what was last weekend's event name?
The Caribbean Classic.
Caribbean Classic. And what were your outcomes? How did you finish the Caribbean Classic?
Well, I won the main event ladies high overall, and then I got runner-up in the White Flyer prelim.
Yeah. And then what happened?
Oh, and then so me and Brandon Powell, we tied for runner-up.
Like the Brandon Powell?
Yes, yes.
You were tied with the Brandon Powell.
Yeah, I saw the scores afterwards, and my mouth was wide open. I was like, no way. I was like, no way.
I love it.
Yeah, it was so awesome. So we tied for runner-up, and then we were in a shoot-off.
Yeah.
And I knew that we were going to be in a shoot-off, and my dad, he kept talking to me about it, and I said, Dad, respectfully, let's just not
talk about it.
Let's talk about literally anything else. So that's what we did, and the hour leading up to it, I mean, I was just thinking about everything else I was doing. I wasn't thinking about, what's going to happen in an hour. Like, oh my God, tonight I'm going to be in a shoot-off with Brandon Powell. I wasn't thinking about that at all.
Yeah.
I was thinking about, I was having good conversations with people. Yeah. I was eating food, you know what I mean? I was doing all those things.
Purposefully, in each moment.
Yeah, purposefully not thinking about the future. And then it actually worked out really well, because the front desk, they called me and they were like, your shoot-off is in 5 minutes. So it really didn't give me the opportunity to be like, hey, it's at 6 o'clock. You know what I mean? You have 2 hours. It worked out very well. So I just went over there. I wasn't thinking about, oh my God, I'm going to shoot off against Brandon Powell. I was thinking about, I'm driving over there. You know what I mean? I'm just going to go, I'm going to shoot. Like, this is exciting. You know what I mean? I went up there. I was talking to him. I was having conversation with him. Wasn't thinking about how we were about to shoot off against each other. I was just so into our conversation.
Yeah.
I was so into what I was doing. We got up there. He shot. I was just thinking about myself. I wasn't thinking about shooting off against him.
Yeah.
It was really great. And then I got up there. I didn't think about anyone that was behind me, him, nothing. So I was just thinking about shooting those birds and looking at the target and exactly what I was supposed to do. It worked out pretty well for me.
I mean, and that's from your training. So that's some of the stuff that I teach, but it doesn't just go in like osmosis. Like, you have to practice it, and you have to get lots of repetition of it. And with that, then it's easier to implement it at any time. And so what you just talked about was the ability to be genuinely in moments, if the moment happens to be that you're eating. And that's what true focus is, and that's what the zone state is. So, you just talked about your ability to be so engrossed in what you were doing, whether it was eating or talking to somebody, that you weren't projecting into the future, like, oh my God, in a half hour, an hour, I'm going to be shooting against Brandon Powell.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what a lot of people's brains do when they don't know how to control it.
That's what I used to do before I even learned about it. And then, I did learn the information, for the last year or so. But I was learning the information, but I didn't necessarily input it into myself. It didn't really click. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And then once I really tried to engrave the information, and now that I've practiced what
Yeah.
information I have,
Yeah.
that's where the difference has made. That's
Yeah.
why anyone who asked me about it, I said she will give you all the information that you need, just like you say in all your videos. She'll give you all the information that you could possibly need, but if you don't do anything with it, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? It comes down to you and how bad, you know, how much you want to do it and what you decide to do with the information.
Yeah. And it's the hardest thing, watching somebody or knowing that they've signed up and they don't follow through and they don't do the homework, and then they don't get as much out of it. And it's just kind of sad, because like what Gianna's talking about is what anybody can experience, but you got to do the work, and you got to learn it and then apply it, and then learn some more and then apply it some more. And it's a true training process, not just, you know, info.
I'm very grateful you were on my butt about it.
Yeah, right.
now it was so worth it.
Yeah.
So I love it, and I enjoy it. I enjoy it a lot more now that I always enjoyed learning about it, but it's a huge difference when you just understand the information versus when it's like making a difference in your life.
Yeah, and you're excited and you want to learn more, and yeah, I love it. So you would say you were in the zone when you were shooting?
Yes, I really was. I was.
That is awesome. So what would you say was your biggest aha moment doing the mental training?
Honestly, just what I was talking about, the future projections channel that you talk about, all the different channels. I have always my entire life had so much like anticipated anxiety about everything. It's like, oh, like I'm gonna do this tomorrow, or I have to go do this, or I have to go to work tomorrow, I have to, you know what I mean, whatever it may be, or I have to go talk to this person, or I have to go do this. I mean, now, like, I realize it doesn't matter. Like, why am I so worried about it if it's not happening right now?
Yeah.
Like right now, like I'm talking to you. I'm not worried about. I mean, I am really hungry, but I'm not worried about going over
next.
I'm not worried about going and waiting in line. Whereas, you know, a year ago, I'd be like, oh man, that line's probably gonna be so long. You know what I mean? Just small things that I would have never in a million years thought of until I applied it.
And so many, like, this is no joke. I don't even know, like 80% of the people on the planet will go their whole life doing those common things and not even realize that it's holding them back. And it's like this misuse of their mind. You know, it's like inefficient use of their mind. And when you can start weeding out all that stuff, then you can start using your mind efficiently and have really great outcomes in relationships and
in
work
everything.
And,
not even, I mean, shooting, yes, is a huge part of my life, but honestly, I've seen it's been more satisfying to me to see the difference in my everyday life of just nothing to do with shooting, just waking up every day, living throughout the day, just
enjoying those moments.
Exactly.
And focus is focus, and if you can enjoy the moments in your waking hours, then it's not hard to carry it into shooting, because you've already been practicing and doing it like as a human being. And it's like, all right, well, 2:00 I'm four-wheeling with my boyfriend, you know, and enjoying every moment. And then, you know, whatever, 7:00 well, it's pretty dark probably by then, but whatever, you know, the next day you're shooting and you're in the moment then, like, you know how to be focused and engaged because you're living it. So what do you look forward to as you're moving forward in the training?
I'm really looking forward to, you know, learning more patterns and being able to rewire, you know, not rewire, but having my subconscious learn all these new patterns. And not that, I know that it's always going to take work, but instead of, you know, having to not try so hard, but having to be so focused on thinking about what I'm supposed to be doing, you know what I mean, and trying to create those patterns. I'm excited for those patterns to be created. So it's kind of like it's already routine, you know what I mean? I'm already used to it. Like you were saying, if you already do in your everyday life, it's easier to transfer it over to shooting. So I'm really looking forward to being able to, you know, even in the last couple of months, like I said, practicing it. So I know 6 months, a year, I just know it's just gonna go up.
And I'm living proof of that. Like the way that I live now, totally stress-free. I mean, and I'm human, so some things will throw me off, but they'll throw me off for a much shorter period of time, and I'm aware of it, and I know what I can do about it, and I can get myself back in the present and reflect on whatever just happened in a really constructive way, and then, you know, come away from that having learned something and ready to apply what I learned. And that's, so we could do that in shooting, you could do it in life. And I've I just know, I've seen it in myself, I've seen it in a lot of people. You know, you just stick to it and it gets easier and easier and more natural, and then it's like life is enjoyable and shooting's enjoyable. Like so many people start hating shooting, or I don't know if hating, maybe I could say hating, but they want to walk away from the sport, or they just want to quit and give up because they get so frustrated and they're not even enjoying it anymore because they're pissed off or they're stressed out, and it's like the exact opposite of what they should be for something that they love. So what would you say is your favorite hypnosis meditation audio, or which one you're using the most right now?
Right now I've been using the focus loop for the last couple of weeks because I really didn't want to change things up going into the Caribbean and the Jack Links. It was working so well for me. I didn't practice very much coming up into this tournament. Like I said, I really wasn't too worried about my mechanics. I knew it was mostly mental, and I was pretty busy, so I just focused on the mental. But the focus loop, it's been working very well, so I've been doing that, and it's been helping me a lot. But I've been doing mostly audios from the clay shooters course.
And she's got the optimal, so there's like 18 hypnosis audios in there.
Yeah, usually I like to do the one that goes with the lesson, and then I'll also use it for the rest of the week.
Nice.
And then sometimes if I really like it and it seems like, you know, the more I use it, the more of a difference it's going to make, I'll continue using it for the next, you know, whatever I need.
I love it. Then you end up with like a library, and you know what they are, so you go back to whatever one you feel like you need at that time.
Exactly. I'm like, oh, I could really use this one now, you know?
Yeah, I love it. So what would you say your family and friends have noticed the most about you as far as changes?
100% that I'm happier. Like I said, I've always been very, very anxious. I've always been like super worked up. I mean, it's kind of just how I've been for the last 20 years. So I've kind of like taken a chill pill almost. You know what I mean? And I'm definitely. I've always been a very happy person, but I mean, happiness wise, as in I'm not stressed out about, you know, this thing or that thing, or I'm not very upset, you know, like about my shooting today. Like if it was 6 months ago, I would have been distraught right now. Not distraught. I always have a good time, but I would have been thinking about it for the next week. You know what I mean? Whereas right now,
you're ready to have steak.
I really couldn't care. I'm more worried about eating. You know what I mean? So that is, and think about that. That really, really applies to your happiness, because if you're holding on to things, or you're thinking about, you know, oh my God, what happened last week? Or, you know, this really affected me 5 years ago. I'm going to be upset about it tonight. I used to do that all the time. And then I would be like, oh, next week's the Jack Links. Well, the week before the Jack Links last year, I was so nervous all the time, and I was like on edge, and I would like snap at people. You know what I mean? Yeah. Just going out there every day. Whereas now I'm not worried about it. And I'm so like in the moment of what I'm doing. I'm just enjoying what I'm doing at that time. You know what I mean?
I love it.
Yeah.
You're doing awesome.
Thank you.
I'm so excited for your journey and to be a part of it and see where you go. I mean, you're so young. You've got huge things in your future. I can't wait to see. And we'll do another interview again in whatever, a few months or something.
Yeah.
Get a new update.
I bet there'll be a lot more to talk about then. Yes.
More wins against Brandon Powell. All right, give me a hug.
All right.
Thank you.